Joining us today here at the ID at Xbox Showcase.
Hello.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys, congratulations. You guys won a BAFTA last week for Best Game, beating some just monstrously huge games. So that was amazing. I mean, that must have been so thrilling for you.
Yeah, it was quite a surprise to the whole team. There was a lot of laughter that night after getting, I think we picked up Best Design, Best Game Design, and Best Game. It hasn't really set in. It's all quite strange. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. So for the approximate 2 people in the world who don't know what Vampire Survivors is, can you just give us like a 30-second overview of what the game actually is? Like, how do you play it and what's it all about?
Yeah, sure thing. So you become the bullet hell. So instead of the bullets coming at you, the bullets become enemies, and you spit bullets or many different
Everywhere.
things back at them. Yeah, just to try and survive.
Yeah.
You get up to 30 minutes, and then eventually the Reaper will come. Sometimes they can be killed, sometimes they can't be killed. But yeah, it's survival of the fittest. sometimes the wildest. Depends what you've got in your arsenal at the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we have some footage from the upcoming DLC called
Tides of the Foscari.
Tides of the Foscari. So it's awesome. That's a new upcoming DLC that's coming out relatively soon, right?
Yeah, so Tides of the Foscari is our second expansion, following Legacy of the Moonspell. It's out on April 13th on Xbox and Xbox for Windows, wherever you decide to play.
Awesome. So this is the footage from the new DLC here. So for those of us who've played the game for a while, it's really interesting watching this and just seeing the little things that are different, the different weapons, the different characters. Who's the character you're playing as here?
So this is Keitha. She is our thief. We keep getting confused internally between thief and rogue. So if I do say rogue, I apologize. Yeah, she starts with Flash Arrow, which is her kind of starting weapon. And yes, she's a lot of fun. She moves a little bit quicker than some of the other characters. She's also one of our first characters that animates. As you might be able to see on the screen, so you can see she kind of pulls her bow and arrow up and shoots. Yeah, quite excited.
That is so super cool. And you have 8 new characters coming. Can you tell us anything about maybe something that you're excited about with all of them? Because characters really make this game, and Chai is excited.
Yeah, we got so there's 4 new characters. Well, we've got 8 in total. There's 4 I can talk about, which is Eleanor, Maruto, Keitha, and Luminaire. Maruto is probably my favorite of the bunch. Comes equipped with a enormous sword called the Ezkizibur. It's a little bit close to a sword that may or may not exist in real life. Yeah, and the animation. So the animation for Maruto, he kind of picks his sword right up, slams it into the ground, which causes this kind of ground crack effect around the character, which does a little bit of AoE. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. It's probably my favorite one to be playing as at the moment.
I'm really excited to see all of the new weapons. There are actually going to be 13 new weapons, and you've announced 4 so far, right?
Yes. So we've got the Flash Arrow with Keitha. We've got Spell String with Eleanor. We've got Ezkizibur with Naruto.
It always where you just say that one.
It always takes a bit of a mouthful to get the names out. And we've got a Prismatic Missile with Luminaire.
Which sounds intense. I'm excited to try
intense.
That one.
It's can't really describe it either. It's a lot of fun to see. You'll see some other ones we've popped a few extras in the footage that you're seeing now. But yeah, we're quite excited by all of them.
So you had mentioned previously during our tech check about a feature that your community would understand. And I wanted you to sort of touch a little bit about how important the community has been for you and your studio and just like Vampire Survivors and what can they kind of expect here?
So, yeah, to us, community is a huge part of what we do as a company. It's a huge part of all of us. So this, for people that don't know, there's 15 of us in the studio. We're all remote. We all work in England. We've got some external people like our soundtrack composers and some artists and business people and stuff like that. But yeah, everything we do is not everything. Sometimes we're quite a little bit selfish and we do stuff for ourselves. But yeah, we everything's community. So we saw something on TikTok recently, and we decided to put that in because it just seemed fun at the time. And, well, yeah, very recently we did a TikTok, and he replied to it, and it was great to see.
And when you say you saw it on TikTok, like they mocked up something that looked cool? Or
yeah, I can't remember the origins. I think it was someone had said that they'd love to see something in Vampire Survivors that was from one of their favorite series. And it just so happened to be that someone we work with is a big fan of the series, and it got passed along, and yeah, so now it's part of the game, which is great.
That's awesome.
I love when that happens. That's so special.
Yeah, we honestly, all of us, so QA, I work in marketing, the director of the game, the programmers, the engineers, we all see a good chunk of what we get fan art all the time, and our Discord's really active, and yeah, we do actually sit and read all these in Reddit and Twitter and the rest of them. We sit and read it all, and it's great.
That's so cool that you guys are a very tactical team, but you guys also have a hand in everything and play outside of work hours too.
A lot,
just one
yeah,
more round, right? Just one more.
It is. You turn your work laptop off and you go to the sofa and you think,
on.
you know what? Yeah. Think, I'll scroll Twitter for 3 seconds and then end up playing Vampire Survivors for 5.5 hours.
Right.
Because you saw some build, or like you were like, "Oh, that looks fun," or "When did they do that?"
Or how many times I said that. By the way, chat, we are monitoring the chat, so if you have questions for Geo, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we will ask them. Ask all the tough ones.
So you have this new area. It's called Lake Foscari. And I love the forest so much. Can you talk a little bit about the inspiration about this new map and kind of what you want to share on it?
Yeah, sure thing. So Foscari is the term lake. So we're calling it we call it a forest called Lake.
Forest called Lake, amazing.
In no way gets confusing. Yeah, so it's basically home to an academy called the Foscari Academy, and some of the characters have come from this academy. They come from 3 different kind of schools. They've come out of that, so it's all very whimsical. It's all very light. You'll notice some of the enemies kind of disappear into a puff of smoke. A lot of magic and fae. It was all kind of driven by UK and kind of around this area folklore and things like that. So we did a lot of research into weird, and some of the things we were seeing in the work chat was strange. I discovered so much folklore about the country I live in that I never knew about. Which was all quite interesting.
Folklore.
Sephiroth88 in the chat says, "Will there be summon or turret weapons coming?"
I think I can say no comment on that.
No comment.
We do. I say we listen to the community, and that's something that we've now heard. So you never know for the future.
And episode Escadal14 says, "Was this game based on Gauntlet?"
No. So it was a prototype. So the studio director makes a lot of prototypes, and this was just one that he made, and he fell in love with it. So yeah, whether that was an inspiration, unfortunately, I can't speak on behalf of, but I see it a lot. The first thing I said when I saw this game before I even joined this company, I was like, this looks like, I remember being a kid and playing like a pound, which is obviously to us, a pound at a time, putting it in the machine and dying within about 3 seconds. And yeah, so to me it is, but yeah, to a lot of people, there's a lot of inspiration from a lot of games.
Yeah, so make sure to join their Discord. Poncle is actually in chat right now. They do listen to suggestions and they love inspiration, so you never know what they're going to add to the game.
Shadow Diver says, will there be any new relics coming to this DLC?
Oh.
New relics. So, just trying to remember what I can and can't talk about.
No
There's a lot of
comment is always an
secrets.
option.
Yeah, no comment might be an option for this one. There's one we added one a little while back, which is in this DLC as well. But as far as I'm aware, I'm going to say no comment.
Ah.
Ooh, I think I'm in a legal black hole now.
And then there's the perpetual question that everybody always asks: when are there going to be vampires?
When are we gonna find them? Where are they?
That is definitely a no comment. For fear that one might find me. Yeah.
You gotta play it.
Yeah,
That's right. You gotta play it.
Yeah, you got to find out. You got to reach the 30-minute mark, and possibly, you never know.
Vinery, we are reading the comments. It's not all pre-recorded.
Yes, this is live.
Although they are going by fast, so it's hard
very
to read them.
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, yeah.
Geo, what is your favorite character?
Wow.
And if you have a favorite weapon.
So my favorite weapon, and this is going to really go against the grain, is pentagram.
Oh,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
oh, I hate pentagram.
I didn't like it, but I've grown on it. You have to learn how to use it.
It kills all your
Yeah.
XP bead things too, which is what always drives me nuts about
But
it.
if you level it, it doesn't.
Oh,
Exactly.
I did not
Glenn's
know
about
that.
to go play so much Vampire Survivor after this.
I just never used it because I never leveled it because every time I got it, I was like, oh, it's killing all my XP, so I never even played around with it.
It's amazing.
Why is it your favorite, Geo?
It's the same reason. So when I first picked it up, and again, initially I picked this game up, and I picked it up, and all of my experience disappeared from the floor, and I was like, I'm just being
Pissed.
cheated at this point.
He's pissed.
And then, slowly as you level it up, when you get it get its evolution, it kind of attracts the XP and keeps it on the ground, plus destroys everything, which is great. So, but the initial stages of it can be painful. I'll give it that.
I love how I'm getting such crap in the chat about not liking pentagram. People are like, Glenn doesn't play this game.
I didn't like it because of that, and then I finally was like, no, I have to level it. I have to max it out, right? And so, going for the achievement hunt. Geo, question from the chat: what time and lore does this DLC take place? This forest?
So this as in the in-game lore, or as in the? Oh, blimey, that's a good question. I can hear the writer of this DLC screaming at me in my head. I think it all happens after everything else that happens in the game. So we look into the lore from internally as we write some, and then we kind of about halfway we lose track a little bit, and then we come back onto it again. There is a word for it we use internally, but I can't say it on this stream. I've been asked not to swear, so I won't. But in terms of the lore, I believe it happens after the main game.
That's awesome.
That's a very good question. I'm going to immediately go back into our work Discord and ask.
What is this?
Yeah.
It's starting to get intense on the screen there too. This is all these fish things.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Yeah, it picks up fast in this DLC. It starts off quite slow,
Get the
but
tractor.
much like
Yes.
everything else. Yeah,
So
it kicks
satisfying.
off quite
Get the
quick.
butter. It's a box, but it looks like butter.
So just for people who may not have caught at the beginning, what's the new DLC called? When does it launch? How much is it? And where can people get it?
So it's on Xbox and Xbox for Windows. It's coming out on April 13th. And I believe in dollars it's $1.99.
It's
So $1.90. I have to try and translate that in my head real quick.
I was trying to
so
catch
it's
up
just-
on that one there. I was like,
$1.99.
awesome. Well, it's been so awesome having you. Now that I know about this pentagram secret thing, I'm going to go
Time.
play another 120 hours of Vampire Survivors. And then I'll play another 120 hours when the DLC comes out. So
That's right.
my wife hates you. But
it's It's funny because me and my husband will sit in bed together with our handhelds because I have the G Cloud, and so I get to play it on Cloud, and so we'll just sit next to each other, and we'll be kind of similar timing, but not quite. And so one of us will be like, "Oh my god," and the other one will be like, "Ah, yes, I'm at 32 minutes." But it's amazing. Thank you for taking the time to join us here at the ID at Xbox
absolutely.
Showcase.
And congrats again on the BAFTA.
Yeah, get some hype in the
Thank you.
chat for the BAFTA.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
we're still processing that. Thanks for having me as well. I'm gonna, funnily enough, go and play Vampire Survivors.
Oh, okay.
right.
Well, have a great day, and we hope to see you soon.